Hey Daniel,
Hey Colin, how you doing?
I'm doing fine, man. Here in Sweden, the weather is fine. Sun is up, the sun is shining, so it's great. How are you?
Well, lucky you. We got some rainy weather. No, it's not raining still, it's gray, and I hope it will keep itself a little dry because I have some work to do outside later on.
Okay.
So, are you ready for today's big talk? I was thinking, I'm really looking forward to having this discussion with you because I'm doing some talks later on the coming weeks, and today's topic is actually relevant for what I'm going to take up. So,
Okay.
what do you think?
I think it's a good idea. Let's start by introducing ourselves. You start.
Oh yeah. Daniel Koven. I'm a tech professional in Norway, working for my own company, specializing in Microsoft and Microsoft tools. Anything for implementation into how to use them and how to work with them. How about you?
Hi, I'm Kalim Butunoy, and I'm focusing in the past few years on partnerships and partnership management, especially in the tech sector, because we see more and more, especially post-COVID, there is a lot of willingness between companies to collaborate. So this is where I focus right now. So last time we got together, we talked about goals and purposes. And we invite you to see our first episode that we published under Business to Tech, and then we invite you to follow us on LinkedIn also. But we were talking yesterday on the phone, and we realized that it's super cool to have a goal. It's super cool to have a purpose. But to be successful in a business environment, you need to communicate with your team members, with your superiors, with your managers, and you also need to make sure you use the right tools. And this led to a brief discussion, phone conversation between us yesterday, and we decided that yes, it's a good follow-up after goals and purposes to discuss. Okay, how do we communicate with our employees, with our partners? How do we make sure we have the same goal and purpose? And we realized that one of the tools that we can use, it's an information management system or an intranet, whatever you want to call it. And we're very lucky with Daniel's expertise because face it, Microsoft it's quite well known and has a very well-rounded offer when it comes to using such information systems, both within the company and involving outside the company resources.
Yeah, it's not just one tool. They have several, but today I think we're going to focus on the first step, and that's building a better internal communication. I will leave Teams out of it for now because that tool is ever expanding, and that requires more than one episode. But what I've learned the last few years is that people think that the internet is dead. Whenever I talk to people about, we have some trouble with communications and such, I would suggest, well, an intranet is what you need. And they just, Teams, we are using this and we don't really sure. And the internet is not dead. It's needed more than ever. Because what every company needs is one place to find all the important information, which is easy to find, searchable, and all of that. And that's where a good intranet, and I mean a good intranet, is essential for internal communication, short term and long term. This is where you put out your static information, like long-term information. It's also a place where you put out news and relevant information for later to be shared in all these cool tools we have around us.
I think one of the major requirements that came towards intranets, and let's use this term of intranet, is the ability to manage the information within as easy as possible, but also the ability to share not only within the company, which can be big or small, covering several continents or several countries, but also outside the company. And I think this ability to use successfully an intranet solution comes from having a clear communication with whoever is setting it up for you, to understand that you have a clear goal and you need to be able to share internally, share externally, share via a link that expires and stuff like that. These are all things that cover new concepts such collaboration, online collaboration, or BYOD, bring your own device. That's
Indeed.
more and more.
In the end, and one of the balance here, which we always need to remember, is we need a place where you can share general information within the company, and at the same time be sure that no information is spread outside where it should be. Now, there is a lot of extra tools to help and support this case, Purview in Microsoft and such, but it requires a little extra. I was looking into, when we talked yesterday, I just did a quick search, and someone's claimed that the price of an intranet today is between $15,000 and $100,000, this expected price. And yes, that is for a big project implementing blah, blah, blah into it and thinking of all the aspects. But just getting started with an intranet today is already, for every Microsoft user at least, is already there. The only thing you need to do is to learn a bit of SharePoint posting and you're good to go because the page is there. It can always be improved and built upon, but don't let the prices on the web scare you off from actually starting your information flow planning and putting a good goal and purpose for your intranet as well.
And I think this is one of the success factors. Okay, you decided on the tech. There are many intranet solutions, and we'll be amiss if we didn't mention Atlassian products, for example, for this. Not only Microsoft. So you have options. But to be successful, you need to make sure you have clear guidelines regarding communication within the company. For example, you make sure you delegate your responsibility of keeping up to date certain sections of your intranet to your managers, and you make sure your managers have the habit of delegating certain pages or certain chapters within your intranet to their team members, because having one person acting as a repository of information, it's impossible to do.
Yeah.
You cannot keep everything updated. So yes, we did find a tool, be it SharePoint or something else, right? But you also need to make sure you have clear, healthy habits within your company, where your management delegates towards the managers that they work with, to their team members. So this way, you have several resources keeping control over the information. Make sure they're updating the information in real time. So this way you can really say, hey, everybody, we have a single source of truth or a single source of knowledge. Go into our intranet and take care of everything.
Indeed, and you hit some key points here. When an intranet is a place where some produce and the rest consume information, and limiting it a bit at least is important. Responsibility, who's responsible for each information page. In SharePoint, the solution is to put the person's name on top. You just add one person in the company that's the responsible, and anyone who finds an issue on the page can just hover that icon and see the contact information and send them a chat message in Teams or a mail and informing this page is missing some info, or this page really needs to get an update. So you can get an organic feedback loop within this to keep the information up to date, and also keeping new information coming in. It's more like if you go to a news page, any news page out there, and you see, oh, the last post was 2 months ago, you don't care to go back because you feel that this page is forgotten and no one cares about it. News pages post all the time, every day. And this is the same with an intranet. Like, you need to keep it relevant and up to date. And relevant is just as important. Just think of this. I will use the news page as an example again. If I go to news page and I think I will find tech news on a page, but there's just celebrity news and which iPhone do Jack Black use, or like, I don't care. I'm here for the tech news. Like, what's the new tech? And it's the same with the internet. If people don't feel that they get what they need from the internet, they will stop using it just because, well, I went in, there was nothing relevant, and people don't get the healthy habits you talk about also checking it. And from there, you have this concept of when you create something, this repository of knowledge, which an intranet is, that's after you share. The classic way, just as a contrast, is we used to do this via mail. So someone wrote a mail and sent it to everyone in the company. And we clogged down the email inbox with a lot of news. And if someone deleted it, that information was kind of gone from their repository of knowledge. If new people came in, they didn't have access to this knowledge. And this has been a troublesome few, I would say a decade at least, with this mentality that we do it on mail. Now, Intranet will solve this by always keeping the information at one place, searchable also for the new employees. And this is key in the communication sphere within a company.
Also, all new solutions, be it Microsoft Atlassian or whatever else you're using, are able to allow you to share sections within the company, between departments, towards the entire company, towards external resources. So they have a good handle on this. This also. I want to also touch on the fact that you mentioned earlier that you can hover above the name of a person and it's responsible for that page or that section. Yes, you can do that, and you should send feedback every time you have any. But as a company, you're responsible to make sure you have the process where you collect and consume that feedback, right? So whenever somebody says something towards you regarding maybe if the information is correct or doing it in a easier way, or it becomes a bottleneck because they need to require access from somebody and it gives the access once a week or stuff like that, you need to pay attention. So make sure you have very, very well built feedback loops where you collect the feedback,
yes,
where you consume the feedback, and you act upon it and you decide of what to do. This leads me to my final point for our discussion today, is the fact that you need to make sure you train your employees and you tailor this solution so it's easy for the employees to use. So from the most basic example, yeah, you need to find the information on the internet, but the internet to load a page takes 5 minutes. Well, that's an issue. Your employees are busy. Your employees have stuff to do. Like Steve Jobs used to say, we hire smart people not to tell them what to do, but to tell us what to do.
Yeah.
So from stuff like this up to the fact that you need to go through several clicks or several pages to end up into a useful place, like, I don't know, let's say an internal agenda or internal phone book where you can, contact your colleagues and stuff like that. So from this point of view, make sure that it's easy to use and everybody's trained into using it.
And this is completely right. It's part of the structure. You need to build the first structure of the internet so it's logical and easy to find. The second part is to put in content which is understandable. So the competency of writing better posts and content, and even which I've talked about with a lot of customers before, is the need for a common language. Like if we have a project, if we call the project all the time, instead of using it's parts of time and someone call it a happening or an event, when we use different words for the same thing, that's when it's hard to search and find. So to have a common language is good. There are tools to help with synonyms and such within the SharePoint sphere, but every tool that you want to add adds to the complexity, which means setting up the page and building on it requires a bit more from you. SharePoint supports multi-language so that you get your language for companies who need that. A lot of companies now are spreading cross borders, which require them to have at least in their local language, in my case Norwegian, in English for the national sphere. But also if we put up a site in, say, Portugal, Portugal might have requirements that the information is also available in the local language. This is a plan you need to put in from the start. Thinking about what the main language is and the other ones, other languages you might need, just as a plan. You don't have to do all the techy stuff, but have a plan. Write better posts that are translatable. But what I usually say, video is king. What we forget within communication, which we've done in social media for a long time, if you talk to any marketing company, videos. People want to have shorter videos that explain things. And I love that concept, because if you want to sit down now and write a long post to explain so it's not misunderstood, because the tone of voice is important, you will spend quite a long time to write that post, and that is a barrier for a lot of people. It's a barrier to stand in front of a camera, but I feel that post-pandemic, people are more comfortable in front of the camera than ever, but recording is still difficult. But if you just start up Teams with yourself and record it and tell your message, you can post that directly to the internet, and people will have a short video. Keep it at 2-3 minutes long with the most important information. You can also transcribe it then, so you get the text and just copy it so it's searchable. You get so many benefits by using video, and I really hope people are looking more into that as a communication way.
Let me run with the video stuff. So just having an intranet where you can share towards the entire company, and when needed outside the company, you can have town halls with your CEO every quarter, where the CEO lets everybody know what is happening. And if you use tools, modern tools, they'll also have transcribe into it. So not only you'll have the discussion, you'll have the text to go through it. So you can also have product launches, internal product launches, or short updates on product roadmap or commercial efforts that you're doing. So in video, it can help you in several ways, and having a place where everybody can access it, it's amazing. So you can have town hall, all hands, you can have Q&A sessions, you can have product updates, you can have roadmap updates, commercial effort updates, just like 2-3 minutes or 20 minutes long, where you can deliver quick information, and it's easy to digest. Let's agree. That it's easier to digest a video format than long text.
Yeah, and even if you use like screen readers, we have a lot of tools that have text to voice. You lose the tone of voice. Like when we talk, the way we present things are more important than what we say when it comes to especially emotional things, which we know can upset our employees. If we have something we need to do some cut downs, it's more important that people hear someone say it with their tone of voice. So I'm really, really sorry now, but we really need to cut staff. We are working really hard to find out how we can avoid as much as possible, but it's a tough time for us. I really hope you have understanding with the position we are in, and we're going to work for your best as far as we can. But unfortunately, it seems that some might have to go, and we'll do our best to ease that process as well. Now, instead of getting that in a text, which just says you get the tone of voice, you get the empathy, and we are human beings, and that's why video are more important. And empathy in this sphere is really important. So I hope people are looking more into using intranets more. Get back to good intranets. Set some time to really document what you do in your company, because this is a gold mine for new employees. Remember, new management comes in there and need to understand what have happened in this company and to align with the goals of the company. And to understand where we are going from the goals and purpose. It's easier when we have a document database with news and information and every part of the company's core structure need to be in there. Help guides, whatever that just gives you information before you start really getting frustrated with your job, because a lot of people I meet out there, they get frustrated with their job because they lack the right information. And the internet is a part of that solution. It's not the whole, but it's an important part, an important brick in this system. And it's the forgotten brick.
Yeah, I think a successful intranet depends not only on good quality servers to rely on, but also on good management. And I think this is a good moment to do a short recap. I'm going to take the management and the communication side of things, and I'm going to throw it back to you, Daniel, to do the tech recap. So whenever you're thinking of internet solution, think of your communication within the company. Think of the fact that you need to make sure that employees find easy to use said tech solution, be it in SharePoint or Atlassian or Slack or whatever else you're using. Make sure your employees know how to use it and it's easy to use. Make sure you have good management processes within your company and that managers are empowered to be responsible and to have full authority over certain sections of the internet, and they also delegate towards their team members. This is a group effort where the group works well together, there is a cohesion, then the results will be extremely amplified and there will be a lot of success. And the last thing, make sure you can also communicate via video, from town hall, all hands, all the way to short roadmap or product or commercial updates, so that everybody has access to the information in video format. So yeah, that's it for me. Daniel, what do you think from a tech side?
From the tech side, if you have Microsoft 365, you got SharePoint. Either you know how to do it, you can read up, there's a lot of documentation, or get help. Build up the base structure and plan for your intranet, and start educating your staff on how to both fill it with information and consume information. So writing better posts, putting out videos, using the tools you have at hand to make sure that you fill this intranet with all the relevant information and get the process flow going. You can put out a simple form. Microsoft Forms has that solution where people can give feedback and have then a process for how you do it. Feedback loops, consuming and producing, it's nothing more than that, and it's same what you do with your web page. I hope that this gave most of you a new insight in what you need. But also, we want to deep dive in this. We discussed that this is a big topic, and we really want to do a deep dive into different parts. So feedback from you. How should we deep dive in it? Which part is most important to look at? Write down in our LinkedIn page and send feedback to us, and we will just build a new episode focusing on what you really want to know.
Yeah, we can. We both agreed while preparing this episode that we can go really deep regarding this topic. Seeing that we declared that our mission is to help business engage with tech, and this is what we aim to do. Do let us know, and what do you think we should talk a little bit more and have a deeper dive in the sections of intranet and how to use it. Okay, guys, it was lovely to see you again. Greetings from Sweden, Daniel.
And from Norway, and see you next time.
See you next time, everybody. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.